Okay, another fun fact video by artist SEAK Claus Winkler. Fun facts about German artist SEAK Claus Winkler. This is the second fun fact video. This text here, start using a teleprompter, is from 4 or 5 years ago, copy pasted. So yeah, it reflects what I thought 4 or 5 years ago would be fun facts which interest people if they would read it on my blog. Um, because my blog became deleted for a reason I explained in the other video. Yeah, so here are the fun facts. In the late 1990s, there was a rumor that I was sponsored by the city of Cologne, Köln. It's Germany's fourth biggest city. Yeah, in the graffiti scene, I'm from the graffiti scene, obviously. So there's lots of rumors, like probably in all scenes, and people talking and blah, blah, blah. And it's also considered very toxic. Not my words, just from others. So yeah, and I started painting here in this area, legal wall paintings, not just here, like all around the world. And later, before others, and I was progressing very fast, which always created obviously jealousy, la di da. And then you have like rumors. So there were like all kinds of rumors about myself. I don't know what kind of rumors. It's name a rumor, and they probably had people had those rumors, and yeah, it's a harmless thing. Wait, so this was like in the late 90s. Okay. Other painting artists always thought I was very financially rich because of my art. Yeah, it's that was like something also other colleagues of mine had, and I painted with, or former role models. Um, yeah, that because the paintings look so good, people think super wealthy. I even had an artist colleague, which is a writer. I mean, like he writes books. He's very known for that. He also became with me the cultural award from my city where I'm living here, of my suburb or village. And he, which is also a city, in a small city. And he did like in one of his books, he became very successful as a book author. He also had one character, and I became fan of later. I became fan of his work. So yeah, and become really addicted to his audiobooks, to be honest, because it's great for escapism from reality. And then and I was like, wait a minute, is he like I mean, could it be? And then you get the vibe that he integrated subconsciously or consciously parts from myself into his characters, but not like this or artist, like indirect stuff where I say this kind of fits. So yeah. So anyways, so it doesn't mean just because someone paints really good or is a great artist and is niche famous world around the world doesn't mean shit in terms of if someone is financially successful. I mean, these fun facts, a lot of these fun facts I'm reading here are with the perspective, like I'm kind of like also thinking about maybe a possible peer group, like from other graph artists, writers who are younger, or what the mindset they have back then. Because they have like the word fun fact is like the word un inside, and AC is like 3-1, like in the alphabet. It's like the paragraph for when you talk negative, and when you become caught in a court of law and you talk about your former crime colleagues, like a snitching paragraph. So maybe I subconsciously thought I talk about this graffiti mentality thing. I don't know. So because this is like I said, these are fun facts from like 4 or 5 years ago. Now the with all this stuff I'm doing and saying in real life, which is also connected, of course, for my art. I'm also not just saying this here for legal reasons, la di da, because there's like police and everything, political police, and the NGOs. But I'm keeping my YouTube account. Yeah, I'm trying it at least. I mean, anyway, so this fun facts here are, and I was still like kind of like sleeping. Okay. Other artists, financial risk because of my art. I was one time weighting a body weight of 140 kilos plus, being obese. I'm again a little bit like that. I went again to 130 kilos. And then because I already made it from 140 kilos back to 90 kilos, 95 kilos, and then back again. Yeah, and this is being part of being a studio artist and painting those canvases here with all the details. It's different than just like painting walls, because then you're outside, you have to move more, and you're basically working out every day. Now I'm at 122, 22.8 kilos, and I'm almost, yeah, my aim is again to lose weight to 90 kilos and stay there, because I want to become old, and for that I must be slim. So yeah, I have to scroll back here. In 1993, I organized a hip hop jam with DJs, writers, breakdancers, rap, and R&B groups. Yeah, I also organized a hip hop jam here. It was called the Too Crazy Hip Hop Jam. When I was a child, I had the Playmobil pirate ship. It came from my grandparents, which was in reality a British sail ship. No, it was, I don't know. Was it just, it was considered the pirate ship. I always thought it was a pirate ship, and I think it also had a pirate captain and everything. With the flag, everything, with the British flag. Uh, the bank, the Playmobil Wild West Bank, which was I think it was a blue building, and the Sheriff Bureau, Wild West Sheriff Bureau, was a kind of green or something. I still have all these Sachen. The debt tower, the medieval debt tower, the Schuldenturm, which in Germany, debt means Schulden or Schuld, which means also guilt. So, is this a possible way? Was it, or were they already trying to guilt trip white people? Doing some psyop in terms of using play toys. I don't know. It didn't work with me. I mean, the word Klaus kind of took it all in the different direction. The guilt tripping thing, never really had a chance. I mean, but yeah, I want to keep this account. I mean, I lost already so much social media. Yeah, let's keep it there. I mean, I might do other interviews or communication talks about my art and everything and subconscious things on on Telegram. I usually talk also much less stifle and less clumsy, but yeah, this is part of when you have censorship and you would talk in real life different, much different. Yeah, it stifles the brain, the mentality, and it makes people dumb. So. Lots of horses, yeah, lots of Playmobil horses. I use that for replaying Wild West scenarios with lots of bandits and shooting and war. And my boomer parent, not boomer, the silent generation before parents, they were like conscious, oh, it makes me sorrows, the son's playing like this, but it's just natural. I mean, okay. The diver craft boat, the red Jeep with the motorbike trailer, the green white police car. That was like probably Playmobil from the 70s, like mid early 70s, because one of my first things I was always in the fish trawler. The fish trawler I had was entering puberty, and my parents were like, "Hey, you don't want that for Christmas. You would stop playing with that in a few months because puberty." And I was like, "No, I want the fish trawler." La, da, 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 da. Yeah, and I played with it like a few times, and then I completely lost interest. It was just pure ego. I should have better listened to my parents. Interesting. Maybe being Klaus Winkler, back then there was no seek. I mean, not consciously. I mean, the word seek includes kind of like with the name Klaus Winkler, the word fish trawler. Yeah, it is already kind of like being. I was already a realist when it comes to women. Fish trawler. Like fish is like when something is fermented, it tastes or smells like fish. Um, Klaus Winkler is kind of like, am I the filter? Am I making this obvious? Am I hiding it with the word seek? Sea breeze. It always smells also a little bit like fish. So you know, yeah, it's how women are, hypergamy. I mean, like this, enough red pill. I don't want to use any buzzwords here because then I get like, shadowed. The story. So fish. So in a way, I was always reflecting what is coming up, like a trend barometer or something. and so the fish trawler was like reflecting the urge for sexuality and for the reality which comes with it. I was like, so it keeps on going. In the 90s, Sieg did a painting tour through the Netherlands with broken foot on crutches after a month was in the hospital. Yes, I had a motorbicycle accident with my 200 CCM Vespa scooter. What was it? I forgot the name. Posa scooter. It was like a big, huge machine, like for a scooter. And I had like an accident. I was in hospital. I remember ECB, like an artist colleague, who also has had a color at Molotov spray paint company. He was visiting me when he was in Cologne. Um, and I was in Erfstadt at the hospital. Yeah, and then the Express, the German, the Cologne tabloid newspaper, yellow press newspaper, like the largest newspaper here in Cologne. They did like I was on the gossip sites between Tina Turner and Otto Walkes that I'm in the that I'm in the hospital, and that it's not a spray paint accident, it's a scooter accident. Yeah, it's good. It's like an indirect brag also. When you were at the, yeah, they were building me already up as someone to be famous. I don't know. I don't know if they still fit that narrative. With my, yeah, because I'm not fitting the political reality. Because yeah, I'm too. Anyways, on his last evening in the army base in Koblenz, yeah, served in the army in did my duty time, where he did 3 months basic boot camp training, soldier boot camp soldiers foundation training, Grundausbildung, or Grundi as it's called. Nowadays they call it AGA, which is like cringe, um, low testo system slop. I don't want to go into buzzwords because then, the shadow, So, but the real name is Grundi. So, if soldiers these days or mm, uh, bots, there's another word I would use on top before that, because German soldiers are not fighting for Germany. I don't know, but we can't talk about this here. I could, but then, anyways, I will do that on Telegram, I guess. Anyway, so those after those 3 months, on the last day, we went to a pub downtown in Koblenz near the train tracks for drinking evening. Yeah. And then, because I moved then I was rebased or I had a marching order sounds, it's for Cologne, because I was then here stationed in Cologne. On that last day, I went in my full, like, good uniform dress out of that evening, out of that pub in the evening, and I saw there a train on the bankment of the in front of on the other side of the street where the trains were standing. And I was like looking, and I was going there, and I was like, no fucking way. The universe said, "Oh yeah, yes, I did." And then I saw a train painting I have painted 1.5 years before, or 1 year before, or a few months before, I think, but I think it was around a year before. Um, at a totally different location, I would say 200 kilometers away. Don't want to say where it was. It was in NRW. A so-called panel. The panels are when you spray paint something, usually with letters, your name or your crew's name or your own name, below the window and above the rails, and that small stripe of metal, usually a few meters long. And I've painted there a name. I don't say the name now because the paints I paint, most of the trains I painted were always different names, because I was more like taking my wall painting serious, and the painting on train was more like a keeping it real, part of the culture thing, for fun, for the action, for the thing itself, but not because I wanted to make a career to push a certain name and to grow there, you know. So when I painted with others, usually trains, I never told them my name because I always did something else. And but what I did, I painted it in my typical 3D style with all the effects and everything, which was very unusual for the others because the others were just doing usually bombing style. And I was like really fumbling around with lots of colors. And for them, it was like, wow, what you doing? But it also kind of probably they didn't like the lettering. So it was kind of like they were critiquing my lettering style. But on the other hand, it was technically like on a different level already. So yeah, yeah, but it's yeah. Anyway, so and the crazy part was this thing was still running, and it was like a last greeting. It's like the universe is delivering in strange ways. You can't tell me that that was a surprise. It's like, because it was still standing there. I mean, I didn't have a photo camera with me or anything. It was, which is a shame. Yeah, but this is the reality, and it was unbuffed. And I think it was in blue fill-in and orange letters. I couldn't tell you the name now, but I won't do it. And I think it's also featured in a book because I remember I had to go to the police because we painted. But that was after my army time. A wall painting in Munich. Um, because I was there on crouches, so it must have been after my Holland. Yeah, it was after my Holland tour. I was in Munich on my crouches, and I was painting there a wall painting. And because I was on crouches, I had an excuse to not go on the ladder. And then we were like 19 or 20 people, I don't know. And we painted like at the Feuerwerk. It's like a party location, like on a wall. Was the size was, I don't know, 12 meters by 25, 30 meters, like with a black background, pure sexual scene. On top, like block lettering, let's suck 'em all, bitch, and then all kinds of provocative stuff, usually sexual. And one of the artist colleagues was painting what is supposed to be Hannelore Kohl and Helmut Kohl, and they were naked and yeah, and they had like Hannelore had like a was pegging him, and in the background in the mirror was a German flag in the mirror, like the BRW flag, not the real German flag. They're both real, but the system flag. The Allies gave the German settling area after World War II because maybe it helps to divide Germans and create self-hate and leftists. Yeah, but because when you know about colors, the flag explains a lot. Also for leftists who hate those colors, but that is just they're just bounded by the effects of the colors they're seeing. Something no one is mentioning. Mm. So yeah, but this is should I should make a speech or like a seminar from that and go on a and sell it to people. But anyways, that's if you do something good, you should charge money for it. Anyways, um, so and then because of that, all around Germany and I think also Europe, because there were like people from all around, from Switzerland, from former Yugoslavia, from everywhere, were people on that wall. We were all painting together. Unfortunately, there were so many other artists. I couldn't know who painted this Helmut Kohl character. Yeah. So anyway, so they did like house became everyone became a lot of people became house raids, and the state protection, the state police, had to be activated. Conservative Bavaria, pseudo conservative Bavaria. The government we have here and everything. It's just pseudo. I mean, if I tell my opinion on YouTube, my account is yeah. Um, and the German Special Graffiti Squad, the SOKO, Sonderkommission, I became a letter from them. Um, And so I had to meet them, and I thought, oh well, they want to meet up with SEAK because everyone is talking about SEAK, and but I'm not painting illegal, and but back then I was already like very famous in Cologne, or everybody knew me, but obviously you have like the lots of haters, like this comes with the territory of being able to do something good. Like everybody knows that you have that everywhere. I mean, it's part of life. So and then I call it the Antrittsbesuch, like when they have like a new federal, a new police chief for that squad. He at some point wants to meet everybody. He's always chasing, and he wanted to also meet. So they came up with that just to have a reason. I don't know. It's kind of like, hey, you can also come up with something positive. I mean, anyways, so yeah. So then I became this letter. I should go there, and I saw like, and then I informed myself, and there was like no stamp from the attorney. And if it's not from an attorney, you don't have to go there. It's just your own free will. And I thought, like, hey, I didn't do anything wrong. It's entertaining. It's part of the whole thing, and I don't. I'm the opposite of a snitch or anything. When a Klaus Winkler can you can suggest this in two ways, it means like I'm giving a hint, or the opposite way, it's kind of like it's a or I turn the other person around, this can also work. Anyway, so I had to go then, or went to the police, to the federal, and they were like, we super smart. Yeah, we just did a house raid at one of your neighbors. And back then it was like, this is all decades ago. So let's say if you do a crime in Germany, I think after 9 years, they can't prosecute you anymore. And this is what I'm talking here is now 1994. So it's kind of like almost, yeah, it's more than 30 years ago. So who cares? Anyways, so the point is that, and I thought, like, well, I wasn't even, how do you call that? I was living somewhere else, not where they became that ladder. So, and he sort of, yeah, and the neighbor, la I was like, hey, even if they would do a house raid, they wouldn't do it where I was in reality living and where all my stuff was. Not that they would be, that they found there something or anything. Anyways, so the point is that they, I had an interesting conversation with the police guy, and it was for me the first time with the police, I think, or where I had to go to the police. And then in the end, I convinced him to change his job, and he became a leading figure in the anti-pedophile police squad. I think in another district, or in Dortmund, or also in Cologne, because that's the after effect of talking with me, because I like did some nudges, which I meant are serious, yeah, and they took it up. So, anyways, so, and then they were like, yeah, who painted this? And it was like, I don't know. There's so many people on that wall in Munich. I can't tell you. I mean, so, and then wait, and then he also in the end showed me a picture of a painted train. It's like, who did that? And I was like, oh, yeah, there's, you never, you can't, as an artist, you can't, uh, yeah, you can't know you can't protect yourself from people who are copying you or stuff like that. So, and that was that train. Yeah, so interesting. Um, so that was the last day. And that was what the story with the secret police, or with the Vandal Squad, was. I think probably a year later, but that was the last day at the army in the basic training. That was probably 12 months before, because after that 3 months basic training, usually I had 10 months in Cologne, where I also painted out the army base. That was the Heeresamt. It's like the organization place for the logistics, for an infrastructure for the German ground troops, for the Heer, for the ground forces. Which was also interesting. Then I had like my own studio on the army base, and I painted a graffiti puzzle with iron crosses and stuff. And I painted a mural for my other soldiers. As a service for the community, for my comrades. yeah. And for army tradition, also integrated the Sovelo rune, the Sieg rune, to did like a fuck you to the system, which created then that General Ocken went completely crazy because I stole all the media from his beloved Belgians who kind of like went back to Belgium, and I became all the media attention for my army wall painting I did with an artist colleague who was not a soldier. Um, but his dad was a military collector. Anyways, well, World War II military collector. Um, and his grandfather was in Stalingrad. And so the so yeah, and then the other the eight camps, other majors and obersts, like the colonels around the general said like, hey, if you wanna, you can erase the painting, but then you're on the first page of the newspaper, la di da. So, and I was like, I was playing like the like a cuck, in terms of like, is it allowed to paint an iron cross and this, yeah. And then yeah, I mean, I painted the beret of the soldier. I was like, I say signal corps, and the signal corps has this flash, so I painted the flash, and it's yeah. Who could know that? Yeah, Walter Heck, decades before, also from Cologne, created used the flash symbol for something else, But yeah, it's it's part of the art, beauty of art. Anyways, Playmobil ship in the 90s. I'm going here. This is a Teleprompter thing. I'm going through Grundausbildung, blah blah blah. Okay, when he was, I wrote it as in the third person. When SEAK Claus Winkler was visiting Russia, and it wasn't Russia, it was East Prussia, occupied by Russia in '92. I think it was '91. I must watch the time here, the photos. He just found a Metallica logo spray painted under hidden bridges from the 1980s from heavy metal fans. Yeah, there was graffiti in Russian occupied East Prussia. Um, but it was just basically Metallica stuff, logos spray painted or painted under bridges. So, and they were like, yeah, I mean, I could talk about that visit. I found the bones of my relatives and of the other village relatives, um, graves open, and then you could see the bones, and they had like kicked in the scouts for gold thieves, and they were digging up the Russians had digged up the graves to look for stuff which were in the graves, but they were just doing that in Russia or in the former German territories or German hold territories, just in the years which were prosperous. Because they wanted to get to like Grabbeilagen, something which is in the graves. So yeah, was a T-34 in the village, on the village streets of the village, because there were lots of fighting where I realized that, or not realized, but yeah, but they won the war also with mass production. Yeah. Um, and in 1989, Sieg painted his first time Isidore spray cans using syringe needles for the thin lines after doing lots of sketches before. Yeah, I bought from the pocket money I had back then. I say 25 marks or 50 marks, which is 12 euros or 25 euros of pocket money I had, was 14 or 15 or 13, 14, 15. I bought spray cans, and they were standing around in my room for a longer time. And I think it was Isodur. And I watched in an article in a insurance for free magazine for people who are in an insurance. I watched a report about the EGU, the European Graffiti Union, and then I saw there that was explained that there was using syringes, like you have to heat up a syringe, and then you put it in the regular L'Oreal or hairspray, and so you can make like thin lines. That was like an old school thing, and I did that, and I painted like with other kids from my village, under a bridge, a painting, or we played there around, and they kind of, yeah, and so, and that area there is now like an Umgehungsstraße, and this became famous for the photos they did of trucks swimming away when we had like the flood here a few years ago, where the Erft, a local river in the which comes from the Eifel in a way, was like flooded, and they had like the dam breaking and everything, and we had like total rain cars, and that was where I painted my first illegal painting. Yeah, that was in 1989. Must be that time. Yeah, and yeah, that's it's not 30 minutes. So there's some fun facts. It's lesser fun facts, but the time is a little bit longer. Let's see in the next video. We can also go here with you with some show you something. Yeah, to also